John Hutzko.
Michael O'Brien.
Lori G.
John Cutler.
Bob Wilbarg.
Jason Fishkill.
Thank you. And if everyone would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, I do.
Okay, we have a few upcoming meeting dates, one on August 20th and one on September 3rd. We have no items for our agendas right now for those meetings, so much as I love seeing you guys, could I have a motion to cancel the meeting of August 20th?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And a motion to cancel the meeting of September 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so then our next two upcoming meeting dates will be September 17th and October 1st. And just a reminder to everybody, we're starting our meetings now, starting with that September 17th session at 7 o'clock instead of 7:30. And we'll see how that goes for the rest of the year. We'll hold over the approval of our meeting minutes and we'll carry them onto our September 17th agenda. So question?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. So the first item on our agenda is an adjourned public hearing for John Jay Gas Station on Route 52. And I understand we're still trying to get in front of the DEC.
Right.
So we have no new information, no submissions. And we did notify the public through the posting of our agenda that while we would reopen the public hearing, which I'll ask for a motion for in a minute, we're gonna just adjourn it to another date as opposed to having you present anything new at this point.
Great.
Okay. So do I have a motion to reopen the adjourned public hearing for John Jay Gas Station?
So moved.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And then, before we adjourn to a specific day, I know there's a few folks here. Is there anyone here to speak for or against, understanding no new information, nothing being presented tonight? Anyone here to speak for or against the John Jay Gas Station?
Fully supported.
Okay, thank you. Then
We like the
Sign
we.
it, sign it.
exactly. We get your name. All right, so our next meeting is September 17th or October 1st?
Shoot for the 17th, that's what we requested.
Okay.
Just as a point of reference, I think through talking to Brendan and hopefully getting in touch with the applicant on a possible new direction that this could go in.
Can you do me a favor, just pull the microphone for it? Thank you.
And speaking to Brendan, and Scott and I also we all had a site visit out to the site after the last public hearing. I think we have a new avenue that we'd like to approach. And I've asked Scott and Brennan to try to get together early next week and maybe just run through an iteration of that. So I think, based upon if we can get a meeting together next week, I feel confident that at least in the 17th, we can have a refined layout to present. DEC there could be meetings set up, but at least we could probably talk about the project itself.
We're still
Do you
talking
think
about relocating the
No.
road? No.
Get back to the original with a light.
Okay.
Do you think that you'll have the revised plan then in the office hopefully by around Labor Day or so, so it's there for a week or two for any residents who want to come look at it?
Whatever the submission deadline is, we'll have it in by that time period.
I'm sorry, Brian, you said we're back to the original.
The thought was, at the last public hearing, obviously there was a lot of input brought up about the blind turn. That's past our site. And with the realignment, it does in fact appear that it does worsen the condition. So the thought is to go back to the original layout, clear some of the vegetation to improve the blind turn past our site, and incorporate the traffic light that we've always talked about setting up for but not installing, but actually going ahead and proposing the light as part of the development action. Again, that requires me to sit down with Brennan and kind of iron out the traffic and present it as an option to DOT for them to look at. I had an off-the-cuff conversation with DOT. They said they would be interested at looking at that option. With the incorporation of that light on behalf of the applicant, I think it removes the school aspect of it. I think it removes the West Complex from the application. And I think from a construction standpoint and from a pedestrian travel point, I think it improves that situation as well. We don't have students crossing two streets now. We'll have them crossing the same path that they usually do, and then crossing over on a sidewalk to our site without having to cross Lake Drive again with a potential realignment. So I think it facilitates answers to the questions that have been constantly raised.
I don't think we need to get into it any further at this point until we
Right.
iron out some things.
This is what we're
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay.
But regardless, even if that ends up not being viable, Brian, you expect to have some sort of finalized layout for
Yes.
the next meeting?
The applicant is pushing for a finalized layout.
Okay. I hate to keep adjourning this if we have no new information, so please plan, let's make sure we're still meeting with the DEC. I know you're working out layouts, but let's get those updates and.
Sure.
Okay.
One thing, just not a comment or anything, just make sure when you have the plans under consideration with traffic, if the West Complex comes back online, there will be two lights very close to one another.
Correct.
That's,
And then the only other thing is, can you just make sure the site, the tarps and everything stay in place and just keep an eye on the site, it's cleanliness?
Right, there should be some action out there with respect to the remediation in the front. There is an uncovered, uncontaminated soil stockpile in the front. I circulated an email to Pam this morning. The applicant is working on a couple of remediation sites right now. That is the next to come online, so that pile will be removed, as I'm told, ASAP.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions or comments for John Jay before we adjourn?
Did our canceling those two meetings hurt your schedule, or do you think?
No, we've always planned on the 17th, and I think from a layout standpoint and from talking to Brendan, I know Brendan's very busy too, schedule-wise, I think it works out perfect.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the John Jay Gas Station public hearing to September 17th?
So moved.
Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
The next item on our agenda is a public hearing for the Lehigh Landscaping amended site plan. Pam, do we have everything we need to open the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, do I have a motion to open the public hearing for Lehigh Landscaping?
So moved. Second?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any-
Should I turn this to the public?
Yeah. Oh, no. This wasn't gonna change his plan for tonight.
Do you have it to put up on the board, Mark?
We're doing it.
Okay, great.
No, he had a plan for it, public hearing.
Hey, Dad. This is where it's at.
Good evening. Since the board had seen us last, we made some modifications to the plan. One of the ones we had made was at the last meeting, we talked about paving this entrance. We paved this, also this exit to this rear area. This area here, we're proposing to be gravel. What we're doing, we went to the ZBA, we gotten the variances that we requested. Unfortunately, when we had met with the planning board, this board had asked that we pave these. We were already in front of, or we had already made application, or the next meeting we were on for the zoning board. In order to keep it on the agenda, we had to modify this area, the existing parking lot. We're gonna convert these to pervious pavers using an eco-lock system, so that we kept our paved area down, so we met the standards of that variance. Have I said this before? Maybe I have. I can't remember.
Keep going.
We may have said this, okay.
But it's your
anyway.
first public hearing, Mark, so you should go through it anyway.
Okay, so anyway, we converted this to pervious pavers, and our hope was to reduce the amount of paving, to get the number down to the standards of the variance. All other variances were issued. There were side yards and other variances for the back of the bins. Basically, we've made very little changes. One of the things that I think Scott had brought up at the last meeting was the floodplain issue. We spoke to Larry Lynn. Larry has revised the elevations out there, realizing that he actually had some spot elevations that he had shown on his plan that were actually Some were corrected, some weren't. He did go through and correct those now. I understand there's still an issue about whether it's NVGD. He's on vacation. Once he gets back, I'll get that clarified. Basically, this is the proposal.
Okay, so just do us a favor, because this is the first public hearing, give us an overview of what the request is,
Oh, yeah.
the change in use and all of that. And what
Okay.
we have here.
This is the Mid-Hudson Flooring Building over on Sprout Creek. This is 376. The owner is, the applicant is a contract vendee of the building. Lehigh Landscaping is a landscaping company currently located on Daly Road in the town of LaGrange. They are not going to be moving that here. They're going to be moving some of that here, but the salt bins and everything that they have on Daly Road will remain on Daly Road. There will be no salt here. The proposal is to put storage bins here, which he'll utilize to sell or to store mulches, stones, other landscaping products that he uses. Some of this will be for sale on site, some of it will be for sale for use of his own. He also will be storing vehicles at night. He has trucks with trailers with lawn mowers and such. They'll be stored on site. Most of his people, all of his people, I want to say, they arrive in their own vehicle. They will be parking here. They take the company vehicles, 2, 3, 4 people per truck. So I know originally the board, we were considering maybe we could reduce some of this parking. Unfortunately, the way he's set up, all his people drive to work and they drive another vehicle out.
Okay.
So we really couldn't, he didn't feel he could reduce the parking.
But you did
building-
make some of the parking pervious pavers, so.
Correct, we did do that for the front here.
Okay.
The building will remain pretty much the same. Right now, inside, most of it is basically a warehouse where Mid-Hudson Flooring stored their wares. Alan will remain with that. He'll store his products in there. There's 4 offices along the back wall here, which will remain, and the rest of it is basically showroom area. He has some design people, landscape architects on staff that will utilize this space.
Is he intending to do any interior upfit, any additional offices or anything like that? or
Not
pretty
that,
much?
he doesn't think so as of now, so.
And you've improved the circulation so you can get trucks in and around in the back area?
Yeah,
That's
we
what
were,
the
we
additional-
were able to do that. We did show on the latest plan that WB-40 could do. I know there was a revised memo that went out for a new fire truck, which we got after this was in, so we will try to model that with this as well.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
I'm
the
not sure,
front.
this is a one-story building?
Yes.
Is that truck relevant for this building then, or we're not sure?
It really depends on the review of the FAB, and I tried to follow up with that, but I don't have any clear answers from that.
Honest to
Okay.
God, if you're driving
I
that
wouldn't
truck.
believe it, I wouldn't believe so on this side.
If you're driving that truck anywhere, it'll go anywhere on this site. I mean, I can't believe it couldn't climb over a 6-inch curb. But,
Okay.
you know, I actually think anything here, it's relative to get on. We understand that the traffic movement in here is gonna be restricted, but it's existing, and we really can't do a whole lot with it.
Okay.
We honestly think you could get in here and, you know, fight a fire if you had to. You'd have to back out on Sprout Creek, but it's not a through road, it doesn't have a whole lot of traffic on it, so.
Mark, the trees and the landscaping goods that are kept there, are they gonna be buried? Or are they gonna be in the ground, or are they gonna be just bald?
The
and
which, I'm
left?
sorry, the,
Like the landscaping good, the trees, brush, and all that kind of stuff. Is it gonna be just bald and left there? or is it
he's
gonna be
not, he's
planted?
not, he's gonna keep all that, I believe, at Daily. I mean, I think he's not really gonna sell plant stock here.
Okay,
He's just selling mainly, like stone and such, mulch.
Okay.
But any landscaping he does is permanent. He's not gonna be selling, you know, bald stock material,
okay.
so. He does do unilock pavers. I think he's gonna do displays and things like that.
So, I mean, is any of that stuff flammable?
I can't think of
I'm
anything.
saying bald trees are probably the only thing that's gonna burn.
Well, that and the people. That's it. I mean, it's a to-be-constructed building, pre-engineered, it's fully, you know, there is some wood in it, there's birch doors and such, but other than that, it's not really flammable.
I was gonna say, I mean,
We did,
Okay.
we did.
I mean, no, I'm just assessing the risk, and it seems like it's,
Pretty low. I mean, you can get out of this building if you had to. We did propose the sprinklers that we talked about to keep the dust down. We're gonna be putting them back behind the bins. We're
Okay.
proposing for a stand-up type.
Now, are they gonna be on some sort of timer or a dust sensor, or I'm just not familiar with how they work.
Well, I think we're gonna have to put them on basically human clock. You know, if it gets dusty out there, turn them on.
Okay.
I think. if
Right,
you-
because you don't want them on during a rainstorm, and you don't,
Right.
okay,
So, we were just thinking, if it gets dusty, we'll turn them on.
okay. And there's 4 of them, and they'll spray all of the bins, that cover
Yep,
all of
they'll
them?
spray the bins and probably reach out into the gravel roadway somewhat.
Okay.
Where will it drain?
We're proposing some dry wells right here and here. So the site soil is a very loose run-of-bank gravel, it's very drainable.
What about your drainage plans? Do we have,
Yeah, we submitted some drainage plans that Joe was reviewing. He's still
Yeah,
got
there's-
some minor
Yeah, there's some
concerns,
minor comments.
but we can certainly address it. I think he's looking for things like, he wants the deep test pit shown, and, you know, we can certainly do that. That's
I
our
know he
fault.
wanted the flood, the BFE resolved, and he wanted to have your,
Yeah, I gotta meet with him on that, and I know he's
Plans.
away, and I told him we'd meet when he got back.
okay.
It's an existing site, I don't know what to do. The building is in fact above the floodplain elevation. It's actually at 266.13. The flood elevation out there is 264.5. So where the actual structure is above. But the surrounding areas, like this area back in here, is gonna be slightly below. So,
So the risk would be if you had topsoil or something, maybe that floats away.
yeah, it might spread out.
Okay.
It's not gonna float away.
Yeah.
Mark,
It's gonna,
I assume you've seen the thing about the landscaping between the rail trail and the property. I would
Which is,
assume that you guys are equally psyched about creating a buffer between.
yeah. Yeah, we are gonna landscape back in here. We're
Okay.
proposing right behind the building.
You know who's gonna be doing that?
I don't know, we got the yellow pages, there's a couple good guys out there.
Maybe
There's-
that.
There's a lot of growth right here,
Right.
that's still existing. This area was cleared when they put in this access way, but we're gonna provide landscaping along this back line here.
And Michelle, I think somebody from your office was reviewing that and
She
was-
just sent a memo today, so I'll get this
Okay.
to Anita.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I would imagine Mr. Lehigh is equally desirous to not have people strolling off the rail trail into his property,
It's
right?
also nice advertising if you're walking.
Yeah,
through it.
I think that's his goal. He'd like to show what he can do. He's actually gonna be doing some landscaping along the front here as well. There's some existing mailboxes that are here now. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
And what about the signage? Is he doing landscaping?
Yeah, they're proposing a new sign. I can't remember if it's here or, I think it's here, or here maybe. I'm sorry, right there. I think he is doing a new sign,
Is
yes.
it the same place as the old one?
Yes,
or
same location.
Same, roughly the same shape or bigger, smaller?
No, I think he's not making it any bigger. I said you gotta meet zoning, so we're not making it
Okay.
any larger. The big issue was there was a site distance issue right here because there's a whole bank of mailboxes that the post office is saying, well, they really don't have to be there because it just saves them. But before the road was dedicated, everybody put their mail here. But now, when he takes ownership, he's gonna ask people to put up their own mailboxes. So we'll get rid of that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from board members? What about health department?
We did send it to him.
Okay.
I did speak to Marie. Joe had emailed me and asked me to talk to Marie Brule, who handles East Fishkill. Marie said, well, we don't have an application for that. And so I said, well, I did speak to Joe, but I understand the board wants us to do it. So we sent it up to her and said, take a look at it, tell us if you want to see anything else on it. The number of employees is going to be the same, if not less. So we don't feel there's gonna be a huge need. The soils out there are, as I said before, run-a-bank, so there is an expansion area that's obviously never been used.
And when you say number of employees, you mean the same as Mid-Hudson Flooring?
Yeah, there's about 6,
Okay.
so.
You'll
Mark, I
have
don't
more
think it-
employees coming, but they're gonna leave their cars on site, and you don't intend them to be in the building, is that what you mean?
Not really, they'll basically park and then go to the other vehicle.
Okay.
Sorry.
More the concern, I think, was, you know, the fact that you've got that, new
Oh, this-
access drive
That's right
over
here.
to, yeah, right.
Right.
So that goes over top of the D box and, you know, the line that goes from the septic tank. And I don't think that's an as-built of the septic system, right? That was just off the filed map. or
It
something
actually,
like that.
it's off, yeah, it's off, there is a
Or is
copy of
there an
that.
as-built or something like that?
Something, but it doesn't give you, it just shows you a location. But there is, there was an area here, they had their dumpster here.
Yeah.
So they used to drive over that before. So it was a impromptu, but they used to, that's where the old
Yeah.
dumpster location was. But, you know, we certainly
I don't know
agree.
if there's a heavier duty, like, box that they want, or
Yeah, we can put a new
change
cover
out
on
the
it.
pipe or something, you know, the cast iron, I don't know, whatever they want. but-
We can certainly do it. It's, I mean, we'd probably do it as
That
part of
was
that
probably-
paving.
Huh?
So we do it as part of that paving anyway.
Yeah.
That way we never have to toy with
Right.
it.
All right.
Any other traffic or parking lot things to go over, Brendan?
I just stepped out to actually talk, with the fire advisory board. In their initial response, they didn't comment on the access. You know, they recognized it was an existing building and they were comfortable, you know, that it was gonna remain that way. They were more concerned about what's actually gonna be in the building. So in terms of whether there's gonna be a repair shop,
No.
lawnmowers are gonna be in the building, fertilizers, pesticides, those kind of things. So I don't know, I think maybe the appropriate thing to do would be to, you know, submit something that's, or, you know, say that they're not gonna be in the building.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
And maybe put a note on the plan that just says the building won't contain those items.
Sure.
Anything hazardous, flammable, that sort of thing.
Okay.
You're not intending that?
I don't believe he is, no. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's not gonna drag a mower in there and do something to it, I don't know, whatever you do to mowers, but he may, you know, probably service them in there, but I don't know that, I'm just conjecture, he's
But
away.
storage of any chemicals?
No, I don't think so.
pesticides?
He's not said that, but, you know, clearly I don't think that's the intent. I think if it's anything, it's more, you know, it'd be grass seed and things like that.
He doesn't do exterminating or anything?
No. No, not that I'm aware of. Maybe
Mark,
Well, but
snakes.
fertilizers are.
There's no garage door on that building, is there?
Fertilizers can't be
There's one,
explosive.
there's one on this side here, there's one right here.
Okay, so theoretically, they could drive,
Yeah, you can
Somewhere
drive in
else.
there. When Mid-Hudson, well, now that Mid-Hudson's there, that's where their materials were dropped off, they would store their flooring in there. So that is a very large warehouse back there. They used to store linoleums, carpets, things like that.
Brendan, I know we don't have notes yet from the FAB, but was it your sense they wanted to know the contents just so they were aware in the event of some type of fire? Or was it that there might be a difference in the way they needed to bring the trucks in?
I think there might be different provisions for what's gonna be in there, so I think if, you know, if they were gonna store flammable materials inside the building, I don't know exactly what that would do.
Well, it might affect, you know, building code issues, you know, like, too, so.
And, you know, I don't know if that's marked on the outside of the exterior of the building or something, as to what.
Not yet.
So, I mean, I think there's something that goes along with that, that's all.
Okay.
So we can't mix the ammonium nitrate, the fuel oil, and we can't do that? That's out? All right.
Well, you can, we just prefer you not to do it there.
Okay.
and do it at night.
You can do it at your house.
We'll do it in LaGrange.
Any fuel storage, Mark? Any,
Not that I.
no? Not gonna gas up there or anything like that?
No, I think mainly he goes off, all his tanks are in the trailers behind the truck, but he doesn't do it on site.
Okay.
I think he does everything at Daly Road.
Michelle, anything else from? Okay. Pete, anything else from Morris?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay. Scott, anything?
No, I'm good.
All right, so I have, Mark, you have your variances?
Yes.
Fire Advisory Board, we just need the clarification from you on what the contents or storage in the building will be, and if there's gonna be a use like repair,
Okay.
something like that in the building.
We'll clarify it.
The sprinklers over the bins are already on the plan.
Yep.
The drainage has been submitted, we're still reviewing it.
Yeah, there's, some minor stuff. Joe will work it out with Mark.
Okay. Landscaping along the trail and around the site has been reviewed, minor changes, nothing major. Okay. And the sign and landscaping around the rest of the property should all meet, the sign isn't changing significantly in terms of size, it may just.
Everything will meet current code.
Okay, and then health department, we need to make sure that they're addressing and understand there'll be now travel over a portion of the septic and that there is a change in use, so they understand what that is.
Yep, we've set up a narrative to describe what's going on.
Okay. So we need the health department information back, we need to finish review of the drainage, and we just need the final confirmation on the usage of the building.
Okay.
We can adjourn you, or we can close the public hearing, but we won't be able to do anything until we have those answers.
Yeah, it's fine. Can we adjourn it and then when we come back,
The
we'll?
17th?
Yeah, that's fine. Wow, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Okay.
Does that screw you up?
Assuming,
Not me, but maybe him.
Thomas, assuming we have these issues resolved, say by the end of August on the 17th, would we be
We
able to
have
also
the
have a
resolution
resolution?
then.
Because we don't need a neg deck for this one.
Okay.
That's what as long as you can get your health department and all of that.
I can't, they don't work for me, so, I
Well,
mean,
actually, I guess health
Yeah, they
department
do.
we
Well,
could
that could
condition
be-
for,
No,
right?
they
We
don't.
could condition for that. Okay.
I really don't
And
see
they
a
will
reason
tell you
to
that.
keep the public hearing out, we could probably close it.
My only thought is if there's a use that the fire advisory board wants to change something, it's my only thought. But whether we keep it open or close it, I think we can have a resolution on the
Sure, we do the
17th, so
same.
regardless.
Okay.
Why don't we adjourn it, just so that if you do need to bring something new in or make a tweak to the plan?
okay, September 17th.
September 17th.
Okay.
Let me just first ask, I know there's big crowds tonight, anyone here to speak for or against the Lehigh Landscaping amended site plan? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn us to September 17th?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank
September
you.
17th. Thanks, Mark.
Mark?
And that was the last item on our agenda for this evening. So just a reminder again, on the 17th, we'll start at 7 o'clock. Do I have a motion to close?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.